there's certain foods out here that are actually very, very medicinal, such as the fruits, okay? And when you're taking in things that are medicinal, you may experience healing crisis. You get what I'm saying? And here's the thing, I'm all about balance when it comes to the diet part. I mean, you obviously don't take medicine if you don't need medicine, right? When you go to doctors, they prescribe to you medication based on symptoms you're giving them. They don't even know what the fuck is wrong with you. They're just prescribing you drugs, okay? Basically treating symptoms, masking symptoms due to issues that you may have that are not being addressed. Only the symptoms, but it makes you feel comfortable, right? Now, that's basically putting you in a comfortable fake homeostasis state, right? But homeostasis is basically being in real God mode. You see, sometimes we take certain supplements to make us feel a certain way. You get what I'm saying? But what is feeling this way? Your body, okay? So you're polarizing to, I feel great because of this supplement. Or you say, I feel bad because of this diet or whatever it may be. Do you know what God, the physicality of the expression of God would be here? Nothing. Neutrality. You wouldn't even feel your body. You don't feel anything. But yet there has to be a balance between being heartless and being neutral, right? So when you start to look at what is God mode is basically just neutrality. You forget you even have a body. Okay? You forget you have a body. But then these little things you may experience in your body, right? Sometimes maybe a little inflammation, little low energy, maybe lack of, focus, mental clarity may be off. Okay? Then, these are check engine lights. But it's up to you to diagnose it. And then what do? You figure out why. And it could be because of the GMO or drug shit that you've been consuming, or it could be information you're consuming. See, here's the thing. This is why I even mentioned this. What is God expressing itself in physicality here, right? God is just authority, just an idea, right? No thing. But you feel no thing, nothing too. You feel nothing in your body when you're in perfect harmony. You don't feel your body. You only feel something when there's something going on, whether it's bad or good. However, bad and good is the same shit. Okay? It's just like money. You can have paper money. This doesn't mean that you're really abundant. Okay? This is just the representation of what abundance is. Right? But it's really nothing. This paper that you would actually have in your hand is nothing. Because wealth is an idea. It's a consciousness. Poverty is a consciousness. Health is a consciousness. So let's say, for example, you intentionally take a food, right, that the idea of it is for medicinal properties, then you're going to have something called healing crisis, which is why you may feel a certain type of uncomfort. You're changing or stirring something up. You see, the reasons why you may feel a certain level of in the clouds when you have fruits, and we talk about they come from a higher, place, like a higher vine, right? Think about this though. The summertime is not a spiritual season. The wintertime is more of a spiritual season, right? So what happens when you're in higher spirits? That's when you would take more of the grounding foods. Okay? So you eat according to the climates, according to the seasons. But at the end of the day, why, for example, when you eat fruits, if you're in a diseased or a high toxicity state, is because you built your body off of that toxicity. So it is now you're in control of that catabolic state. You can actually look lethargic and skinny from sickness that you basically have, or you can and the body is basically forcefully going into that catabolic state, or you can control that catabolic state. It's kind of like, you see how you think you know a lot of shit, but then you realize that you don't know anything, and in order for you to actually learn something new, you would have to actually observe yourself and say, do I believe this as truth, or was I indoctrinated in this? So you have to unlearn things, right? To get to the point where you don't know anything. You can clear your slate. See, a lot of spiritual people practice fasting or meditation is for clarity. Why? Because it raises energy. To raise energy, you actually are more accessible to full power. Okay? Which is why at times you may feel in the beginning very weak when you are fasting, because your body is used to eating and it's used to consuming. And it's not even you. It's basically the bacteria and the worms and the animals that are in you, including the habit, because your body's a creature of habit of eating that releases certain chemicals in the body to make you think you're hungry, because you're living up here. So you think you're hungry when your first brain is actually your stomach. Okay. So that's why you tend to think you're hungry, and you may just be dehydrated when you get those rumbling pains, which is called ghrelin. That's why after a couple of days of fasting, the hunger pains just tend to go away, right? So it's just the side effects of what you go through in the beginning when you're participating or taking part in doing something, okay? See, when you're a child and you grow up on just eating fruits and you don't taste that triggering, stimulating nastiness of the GMO or the complex sugars, okay? Because those are addictive. And once you taste that, the sweetness of fruit will no longer call your attention, or it will no longer be fulfilling to you, because you tasted something that you feel like you need more and more and more and more of it, because it's a drug. It's not food. Okay? And this is why, if you've been having inorganic sodiums, as I've mentioned in the previous video, the inorganic sodiums would be the ones that you buy in the supermarket, okay? Processed, bleached shit of salt that have really no mineral content. If you were to introduce the right minerals or the right sodiums from the soil, okay, then you wouldn't even have a craving for salty shit. You get what I'm saying? That's the whole thing, but it's all drugs that you've been exposed to. It's just like ideas that have been implanted into your mind. And when you let go, it's hard to let go of that shit sometimes. You get what I'm saying? Because you get something called cognitive dissonance. So you have to unlearn certain things, but it has to come down to a certain realization. Okay? See, when sometimes you want to just fast, it's hard because it's not something you're used to doing. So it's hard to do, but it requires certain level of discipline. You see, how do you know that the reason we've been able to eat like this, okay, or we've accustomed to a diet like this, is because through evolution, so many evolutions of being passed down from generation to generation, our body has evolved into acclimating to this type of lifestyle of diet. However, everything comes at a cost. That's why you would have, maybe if your genes aren't strong, you may experience certain ideas of diseases, right? And the reasons why we may experience certain ideas of diseases is because we've been implanted that idea first of disease. See, the whole thing is that there is no such thing as diseases. And the reasons why you would go on a medicinal fruit diet, okay, is to basically prove that there is no idea of diseases. Like cancers, diabetes, and all this, that they tell you cancer, there's no cure to none of these things. And then when you're able to medicinally heal it with food, because food could be a medicine or it could be a drug, then you just disproved the idea of disease. And just know that it was just an imbalance of chemistry when you put in the drugs in your body to begin with. Okay? So that's why when you start to think about what are we really using these systems out here for, it's the same shit. You know, because it's just an idea. I'll give you a scenario, all right? And I'm going to make a medical disclaimer. I'm not claiming to know anything medically here. I don't know anything. So just listen to this information. This video is for me, so that this way, you know, YouTube doesn't ban my video for making false medical claims, okay? But it's just like when we think about a virus, okay? And I'm going to say allegedly, and also these are my ideas so that we don't say we're making false medical claims. But a virus, for me, is not what a virus means to you, to most of the people here on the planet. You get what I'm saying? To me, a virus is a frequency, okay? And it's just an idea, just like wealth is an idea. It's a consciousness, right? and you can align to that consciousness, and it would physically show itself to you in the form of what we believe as wealth, as paper, because that's just what the collective believe it to be. So let's say if the collective's idea of wealth is money, and you are in that frequency and vibration, and you're not chasing it, you attract that physical manifestation into your life to you. So the way that diseases work, in my idea, I'm not making false medical claims, okay? Please don't ban my video. Is that a virus cannot be even detected under a microscope, right? So let's say, for example, first the mind virus has to be implanted into your mind that it exists first. You believe it to be so. Then you want to protect yourself against something, right? So you put a mask on, not knowing that this is actually aligning you to that idea of a virus. Because in actuality, when you put that on, it's like a consent to saying, I am protecting myself against something out here called a virus. Okay? Now, how would it align to you, though, in physicality? For one, when you breathe in your own CO2, you're making an acidic condition in the body. And these viruses will thrive in an acidic condition. And then your body is forced into an immune response. Okay? But the whole thing is that this immune response is actually a very good thing. You can expel a lot of waste from here. However, due to the drugs you've been eating, you may not be able to process this virus that we call a disease. When in actuality, all viruses are upgrades. All viruses come from even the stars. Okay? You have all of these things within you that predate Egyptian history. Okay? The whole thing is that's why the concept of what doesn't kill you makes you stronger is actually very, very true. Because that's why kids that play in dirt, they strengthen their immune systems. They grow up and they're building defenses toward all these things. It's actually, the whole thing is that when they come out the womb, okay, do you not know that these 72 vaccines that they're injecting into a child, okay, are actually hijacking the system before they actually get a chance to go interact with soil outside. And it's not like they even have the time to do that. Because most of the time they're sitting in class, in school for 8 hours in a cubicle, all right, with them not even really wanting to be there. You get what I'm saying? And what is this? This is it's like an equivalence to an adult going to work for 8 hours in a cubicle. Same thing. They don't really want to be there. However, you're training yourself to sit in a cubicle for 8 hours because you're training to do this when you get older, to go to work and sit in a cubicle for 8 hours or do any type of job that you may have to do. You get what I'm saying? So it starts from a very young age. While if you really look at it from that age, the ages of 1 through 7 is when they should be out in the sunlight more, eating natural fruits and whatnot. But the whole thing is that from the moment even that they're in the womb, your mom is eating donuts, mom is eating all this. Mom is already programming the body when it comes out, and then plus when the injections go into the system, it's basically hijacking the system with inorganic GMO viruses. Again, I'm not making false medical claims. These are just my ideas, and I just make a video for myself, okay? So if you're playing in dirt, you're processing viruses, bacteria. You're processing all that. Your body is one with that. But however, once the body is introduced to the man-made laboratory shit first, which is why the push for the jabs are so aggressive. You know what I'm saying? Because this is one of those, you see, I'm going to link the video in the description on Phage Lambda and the ISIS thesis by Judy K. King. Okay? See, this is a virus like no other, or bacteria, phage, all right, like no other. This is actually something that actually even emits a light. And when you look at this particular type of bacteria, it looks like a Tesla tower, if you really look at it closely, okay? And what is the Tesla tower? What was the Tesla tower for, right? Free energy, communication, right? But what happened through time? That was altered. Why? To cater to businesses making money. So the way your body is programmed from the moment you're out eating a certain way, is for systems to make money, such as supermarkets. Okay, if you go into school, you have to have a job because you have to have a home and you have to sustain yourself. So you don't have time to make a garden, to grow your own food. So you have no idea the properties of what this type of food could do for you, right? So if you're living life eating a certain way, then you are evolving your body into catering to that type of diet. But that type of diet may not be the appropriate food for this spaceship to actually become what you think you're trying to be, which is more spiritual, right? Because we already are this, but we don't believe this. That's the whole thing. We don't see that. When in actuality, everything about, let's say even poverty, wealth, abundance, it's all just a consciousness. But you would have to change the way you see things. It's like somebody saying, the moment I have more physical money, I'm now more successful. When in actuality, you have to be successful first in order for you to have this abundance attracted to you. You have to believe in the idea of a virus for this virus to actually attack you in the way that it does, because it would change your chemistry of your body in a sense where you would be put in a certain emotion called fear, where you could turn fear into many different things. You could turn it into fire for channeling into many different things that you want to do in this planet. Instead, it's channeled toward what you've been told. And this is what's fueling that idea and frequency of what you would consider a virus to attack you and kill you in the way it does. Because it shuts your immune system down, right? Which your immune system is your lymphatic system, but that lymphatic system is already stagnant to some extent. Everybody has it because of the type of diets they've been eating, because of the sedentary lifestyle, and not really practicing certain things that would actually move certain elixirs in your body to begin with. All right? That's why when you go to bed at night, you fall asleep rather than going to sleep consciously. Right? And this is the thing though. If you notice that when you fast, okay, and you meditate, this is the point of these things. These are just practices. They're things it's cause and effect. Okay? It's not to say that these are religious things. These are tools. Okay? No different than if you go to the gym, you strengthen your body. You strengthen your focus muscle, but you're also strengthening other things in your body. Okay? So the reasons we have so much dormancy in the body, junk DNA, is because we're depending on things in this physical reality to answer our questions, or we do all the things out here in contrast to what we can do ourselves instead. We use phones to communicate with somebody else instead of, and it sounds crazy to do this because these ideas are laughable, but yet you don't laugh at the idea they've sold to you about how the pyramids were built. You don't even know what the pyramids are. The pyramids of Giza have other purposes than just sitting there for tourists to go there and take pictures of themselves. There's other reasons for these pyramids to be that why they're there, right? The whole thing is that this game started the moment you came out the womb, right? It's just like when you start a game, everything's already created. You're unlocking things as you go along, right? But adventures have to happen. Drama has to happen in game. A lot of shit has to, it's not, the game would be boring if you're playing a video game and nothing's happening. You're just fucking going through the game. You're not unlocking anything. You're not figuring anything out. You're not gaining anything in the game, right? So you would have the knowledge that there's nothing going on in the game. It's just an experience you're actually having by playing the video game, right? But you become one with it because you're just having the experience, and there's a level of enjoyment even through the ups and downs, the anxiety it causes your physical body in the game, right? But then look at the layer behind it. If you're looking at it from the observer, right? That's when you would say, oh, I'm talking to my... No, you are the higher self. But when you are, and you realize you're the higher self, you look at the fact that you're observing this shit, and I may want to ruffle some feathers. I may want to talk shit about somebody, right? Does that necessarily make me a bad guy? I don't know. Or maybe I'm just having fun. Who knows? But at the end of the day, you do what you want here, right? You do what you want. But the whole thing is the best thing to do is to go and look at the root of everything, right? Because this is what we're trying to practice here. Getting to the root cause of things, not just treating symptoms, right? Not just treating symptoms. I say to myself, is there more to life than just going to work, taking care of my family, maintaining my space here and then just die? That's it? I mean, where was the enjoyment? Where was the excitement in this life, right? I've had certain experiences, such as coming out of body. Those are, wow, man, those were experiences where I was like, holy shit, that was fucking crazy, right? But just that is just a first step into the type of technology that I can have. How do I know I can't communicate with the people who already built the pyramids? Which is me, basically me talking to myself, right? Because even when I'm talking to other people on this planet, I'm technically talking to myself. So how come I can't connect within myself to communicate with another aspect of myself or another extension or version of myself? To, like, let's say Nikola Tesla, or let's say, any type of person that has been a revolutionary inventor here or whatnot. That's all me, right? But what would it be? It would be connecting to my internet, okay? And actually communicating with that person, but becoming one with that actual person. How you doing? Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you. Yep. Becoming one with that actual person to actually have the perception, not just the understanding, but now the actual perception from there, and then to actually say, wow, this is how this shit works, right? Now, I don't bash any ideas out here, religion, anything that it might be, okay? Because this is just, this is the beauty of this planet. This is what sustains this planet, right? But it has to be in some type of order, okay? The idea behind this whole video, okay, is that know yourself. This is why I do iridology. This is why. Because if I'm looking at my eyes and I see that I have weak adrenals, nerve rings, okay? How can I channel energy, all right, if my adrenals are weak? You know what I'm saying? It's just like if I have to, in an emergency case, have an adrenaline rush, right? There's chemicals released in the body that make you stronger, make you physically faster. Like Wolverine, I remember I was being chased in New York by a group of guys. And I was hopping fences like Wolverine, and I was running faster than the Flash. I was running so fast I couldn't even feel my feet anymore. You know what I'm saying? I almost stumbled over my feet. But I was hopping fences like Wolverine. Like I wasn't even, it was crazy. But these are chemicals released in there in times of emergency, right? But then there's certain times where you build pressure in your body. Your adrenals are very important even for spiritual health, mental health. First of all, your autonomic nervous system. If your adrenals are fatigued, it controls the automatic functions of your body that you are not in control of. You're not doing it, but you still could take the wheel. When you're scared, what happens? Your heart rate frequency changes, right? But what can you do when you're consciously aware? You control your breathing, and with your awareness, you start to calm yourself down and become in frequency and in harmony with the natural, neutral state that you see outside of you, nature, because there's nothing out here that isn't within you. So if you're sold ideas and you buy into the ideas, then you will have a certain perception of your reality. But in actuality, God mode is neutrality. It ain't feeling awesome or feeling bad. It's just neutrality. Neutrality. You're not affected. You're the immovable object. You're not moved by these things. Why do you think certain people, if they're like wealthy people, if they go into bankruptcy, they can bounce back? Because they already have the consciousness. They just need to make certain moves and change it. They don't panic and change their reality to poverty. We'll talk soon. This is going to cut off.